Is that a Supra? See, just like that.
What's up guys, it's Eric from Verus Engineering and we're gonna do a rear diffuser install on our 2020 Toyota Supra today. Overall, the install is really easy. It should take about half an hour to an hour, but overall, really simple install. Hand tools are necessary, and let's get to it.
All right, as far as kit components, we have the main diffuser piece, which is a single piece of sheet aluminum with the strakes already attached. We have 4 rear brackets, 2 front brackets, and 2 side brackets. Then we have a hardware kit which is full of a bunch of M6 and M4 hardware, primarily M6. But that is the gist of the entire kit components. Let's get to the install.
So as far as what we'll need for the install, 4mm Allen wrench, a small flathead screwdriver, 10mm wrench, 4mm socket, not necessary, but it does improve or make it faster to install. 8mm socket, and then I have a little snap-on tool that helps as well. So the first part of the install is going to be removing that part that Kyle was holding. Overall, it's kind of a pain in the butt to remove. There we go. But basically you'll remove the bolt first. It's an 8mm head, and then this plastic part. Easiest thing that I found was to use some needle nose pliers and basically squeeze this, and then as it kind of comes apart, you can get the needle nose pliers again down here, or screwdriver, and pull that down, and then this comes off like so. And then this stays in the chassis, and then you'll push this and pull it from the from the top. So this comes down from the bottom, this comes off from the top. On the rear of the Supra, you'll see these. Again, another 8mm coarse thread. We will remove all 4 of those. Keep going. And then we will install the rear brackets there.
To install the rear brackets, we are using the M4 hardware with a washer, and then on the top side, I'm not sure if you can see it, probably not, we have a nylock nut up there. Now you can use the OEM hardware, but we have had a few customers that have said that this hardware falls out, even though ours has not. We have updated this hardware to M4 hardware with nylocks, which will not back out. Now for the center unit, you can see that you can't really access that top side. So we're gonna keep using the factory unit. However, if you want to use the M4 hardware, we supply it, and I would recommend basically just trimming out a little small square so that you can access that top side, and all of that is basically the exact same as this. Just once you remove a tiny piece of that shield, you can then install the nylock and the washer without an issue, and then you definitely know you won't have an issue. I'm willing to take the chance because we still haven't seen ours rattle loose, and we've been running basically the OEM hardware for over a year now. Here is a short video of the side bracket installed. Now if you'll note, it is very close to this piece, and it actually slides under. Make sure it doesn't go on top, but it slides under. And same thing here, you can use M4 hardware, but we went with the factory stuff. If you want to use M4 hardware, you might need to cut that off, and then, or if you can potentially snake your finger up there and get a nut on with the M4 hardware, you can do that, but realistically the choice is yours. I feel confident that I can tighten this bolt and it's probably not going to back off, but again, we've had some issues with these diffusers loosening over time, and thus we have included M4 hardware with nylocks now, so that you don't have to use the factory plastic screws, which these are.
All right, so to install the front bracket, we're gonna grab a short bolt and a washer on the bottom side, and then we're gonna put the bracket there, and then as we go up into the chassis, we'll have to snake a nut on the top side of the metal bracket on the Supra. And as we get it closer to being fully tightened, we will ensure that the bent side is facing forward, and then we can snug it up with a power tool and holding to the nut. The nut is serrated, it will resist turning at least. And then as long as the bracket is laterally placed with the car, we can snug that up. All right guys, I have enlisted the help of our friend Kyle Smith at Walker Smithology. What a great guy. You should follow him on Instagram. Anyways, I've asked him to help me so we can install the rear diffuser. Basically, you're gonna flip it over, and obviously the two bolts go in the front. We normally recommend bolt washer, and then the nut will go on the diffuser side. Same thing with the rear. However, you're probably gonna wanna use the longer bolts on the rear because there is a potential that will have some spacers to either fit your exhaust tips or the exhaust, so you can then install the rear diffuser at different heights based on the nylon spacers. Let's get to it. All right, for install on the actual diffuser itself, this front bracket, it's probably difficult to see, sorry, it's very dark, but these front brackets are slotted. So this allows you to move the front of the diffuser up and down. You will want this portion of the diffuser to be parallel to the ground in this respect, as well as this respect. So longitudinally and laterally. Another spot that you can actually check longitudinal flatness or parallelism, I guess, would be the bottom of the strake. And that is to ensure that the performance of the diffuser to what our CFD tests are kept. And that is basically flat with the underbody of the car. Now, if the car does have significant rake, you will actually want to put this portion and the strake parallel to the underbody of the car. And that does get a little bit more difficult to measure, but just keep that in mind. And we're just trying to give you as much information as you can on installing this for the maximum benefits. All right, so on the rear, we have some nylon spacers that are used in between the chassis bracket and the diffuser, and that allows us to once again place the diffuser as necessary for maximum benefits. And again, that is for the strake to be parallel to the ground, unless you're running a lot of rake, and then you will want it to be parallel to the bottom of the car. All right guys, that concludes the install video of our 2020 Toyota Supra diffuser. If you guys are interested in this part, be sure to send us an email. We're gonna be looking at doing potentially a initial group buy and looking at a bunch of stuff. I don't know what, Kyle's counting my ums. It's awesome, it's fantastic. People make fun of me all the time. Anyways, diffuser installed. It is done. It's actually pretty dang rigid. I hate you, Kyle. I know you can't see my feet, but I'm actually hanging from the diffuser there. The rear trailing edge, again, really strong, fairly rigid, great part. And it does actually benefit the car's performance. It reduces drag and it improves downforce. So be sure to like and subscribe us. Check us out next time. Thanks for following us.
Freepeaks.io, freepeaks.io,